Today we're going to be talking about how you can rehab your injury that little bit faster. We want to promote the healing a little bit faster, and we want to rehabilitate it after that so we get it back to its normal function. We're going to be talking about massage as a form of doing that. That could be someone else doing it, it could be you doing it, or it could be some sort of foam roller or external tool that you're using to massage to increase or improve your rehab and make it faster. Part 1 of 4 is increase the blood flow to the injured area to promote healing. You need the blood flow to go there because not only does the blood help heal it, it also takes the various different nutrients and components that are required for that to happen. So the body will do this naturally. So there is a natural pace to the healing process. But what we can do as individuals is we can help speed the process up. And massage is a way of doing that. So one of the things that massage does is it increases the blood flow to that injured area, which will then promote and improve and make that healing process faster. So it's not, in some respects, changing anything. It's just delivering more of the materials that the body needs to be able to heal faster. Number 2 is as the healing process takes place, you get this tissue called scar tissue, and that starts to form. So if I bring you down to these 4 images here, you can see that the muscle is organized in nice sort of straight lines. So let's just say that's a fully functioning, proper functioning muscle. When we get injured, that can become haphazard. So it can all start, well, it can tear, obviously, but also it can knot up, which is what we'll talk about later. But if we talk about it tearing or breaking down in some way, then it goes all haphazard and all these straight lines get thrown in all these different directions. So what needs to happen is all of that needs to get knitted back together. And when we get to here, you can see the poor healing has sort of not fully taken it back to where it was pre-injury. And then what can happen is it can get left with this scar tissue. And scar tissue is a tough intermediary tissue that if doesn't get broken down, it stays there and it isn't as strong and can promote re-injury. So what sports massage or massage can do is it can start to break down the scar tissue because it's an intermediary tissue. And what that intermediary tissue is doing is it's acting as just a go-between. So it just needs to lay it down so the body can then put together the proper materials so it can knit the muscle fibers back together. And that's what we want it to do. So not only are we delivering the blood there, but what we're also doing is we're breaking down this intermediary tissue that that isn't as strong and that can promote a re-injury. Number 3, also as healing is taking place, muscle fibers don't align correctly. So this was going back to what I was talking about before. So not only have we got to break down the muscle tissue, we've got to realign these muscle tissues or muscle fibers. So massage is a mechanical way of doing that because we can use thumbs, knuckles, palms of hand, elbows, whatever we need to be able to first of all break down the scar tissue and then start realigning the muscle fibers, because massage not only promotes this alignment, but it helps correct any current misalignment. And we use the pressure and the load. So if you watch part 1 of this, then you'll understand that pressure and load promotes the healing process as well. What it also does is the pressure and the load that we put through the muscle with our hands, thumbs, palms of hand, knuckles, whatever it may be, what that also does is it helps realign the tissue so the muscle can function properly. Now again, as I mentioned, there will be a certain degree of this happening in the natural healing process. But what we don't always get is a full recovery. So what we are able to do with massage is we are able to promote that, again, as long as we are able to sort of complete the process. So we would massage, we would obviously help realign the tissues, we would stretch the tissues, then we would move the tissue. So we're using all those different loading patterns, so the compression, the stretching, and then the loading of the muscle with the exercise to then be able to realign any misalignment, or once the scar tissue has done its job, than it is to realign those new fibers that are being laid down. And then finally, if there are any if muscle fibers have become knotted, it will mobilize them and release the knot. So you can see here, you've got all these muscle fibers, so they are aligned, but they've got some of these muscle knots within them. Now again, what the pressure does is it breaks down these stuck together tissues or these contracted tissues. So these muscle fibers could get stuck together so they're not moving and gliding properly. So again, the massage will deliver the nutrients and the fluids to be able to get those sliding and gliding. But also, if there's any that are stuck in a contracted state, what it will also do is it will sort of stretch those out and deactivate them to calm these muscle knots down. So it's a perfect way of getting the process started and then following it up with some good stretching to elongate the tissue, and then finally bringing it in some respects full circle for the rehab process is to load the tissue. But optimal loading, so you're loading it appropriately. You're not just jumping straight back into heavy squats or deadlifts or presses or pulls or whatever it may be. You're actually taking it through some sort of optimal loading, building back up, getting the muscle active, getting the fibers to align, stressing the tissues in certain directions, be it forwards and back, sideways and rotation, things like that with the exercise to get that faster and more fully rehabbed muscle fiber. If you found this information useful, please do support the channel with a like and clicking the subscribe button below and the bell icon, and you'll be notified when I release my next tutorial. Many thanks for watching. I'm Chris. I'll speak to you soon.